To another Williams video on explaining some of the things that are going on. This one's on execution excellence, or what we might call E squared, and it's not just jargon. How do we start on this? Well, it starts with the realization that all of our revenue is generated via contracts, and that when we deliver on the contracts, it generates that. It also generates and maximizes our customer satisfaction, ensures margin optimization, and it really lays the path for future contracts when we do them super well. So the way that we achieve excellent contract delivery in a repeatable, scalable way is what we're going to call execution excellence. And we're going to see that everything feeds there for getting today's job done and also being ready to do tomorrow's job. So how do we go about doing that? How do we go about execution excellence? We gave it some thought, and this is what we came up with. We pulled together working groups. These are professionals in a given areas of focus and they focus on what can be improved. It's all under a general approach of performance improvement, and ultimately, it's about doing great today and building for tomorrow, i.e. growth. But within the field of performance improvement, we realize, hey, we make our living at sites through projects, so we dedicated specific working groups to these two topics, project management and site management. Very interlinked, and as a start, we actually started doing them together. Since we had already learned that we needed to focus on the project controls aspect of project management, we also set up a working group just on that subset alone. And to make sure that we kept focus on what we call the lifeblood of our projects, that is site administration. We also dedicated a working group to that. So when we started up, we had essentially these dedicated working groups: performance improvement, project controls, site administration, project management, site management, and growth. Along the journey, growth working group actually evolved to the point where they're able to put it into the flow of daily work. And we're still in the process of evolving and growing the other working groups. And you've seen some of the fruits of them along the way. But what does really enable execution excellence? Because we said it's about getting today's job done and getting ready for tomorrow. And when we look at what it takes to pull off a project, we see that everything is first built on what we call leadership excellence. And nothing's going to move forward without that. But when we look specifically at getting today's job done, we realize it's about pulling together the project management aspects, those things that are unique to the project, and what we call corporate support excellence. And so you can see how the project management working group really focused on that element of project execution excellence. And projects are made up of a lot of parts: proposals, estimating, planning, project controls, site admin, safety, accountability, supervisors. And that may not even be the whole list, but we did look at that list and say that's why we dedicated specifically project controls, site admin, site management. We said that picks up those parts of project management. And project management was picking up other parts, especially around relationship and communication management. So when we see that, we also see that a good project isn't just a function of the project team, it's also a function of how well headquarters, corporation supports those projects with things like HR excellence and finance and IT and legal. Also weaving the projects together to make them interdependent, what we call program management, handled at sort of the VP operations level. And something we call peer networking, where we're making sure that what we learn on today's projects, we're able to translate to other projects, and we don't lose that good excellence along the way, and making it repeatable and scalable, because we are planning and we are growing. So we need to be able to make sure that we're paving a path for the future. Speaking of the future, that's why we have the performance improvement working group, really kind of focusing on a lot of things that are within the corporate operations sphere, but they are also picking up some of the stuff that might be called in the site management or site admin sphere. And they are global, but you can see where they sort of started. When we look specifically at generating future project excellence, what we also have, in addition to all those other parts of doing today's job, are things like developing vigorous relationships with clients and potential clients, adaptive learning so that we can see what we're doing at one site and how we might be able to adapt it to be able to get work at another site, and continually improving so that when we're at a site, when we go back to that customer, we know that we're able to promise them a better and a faster, more efficiently and more affordable and more value-driven way of doing the job. So Performance Improvement Working Group is really pulling those sort of loose aspects together, and that's where they are taking some of their first looks and doing the work. When you say, well, how does performance improvement working group even approach such a fuzzy thing? So let's take a look at that. So it's really built around this concept of continuous improvement, and that continuous improvement is the methodology by which we reach execution excellence. And that implies that we're always getting better. It's a moving target. And that moving target, the first way we feed it is with a principle called lean enterprise. And that's really very good. It's well adapted to our line of work because it means stripping out those things that are not value added. Sometimes we call them waste, but it utilizes things like going into a tool room and being able to make it so that when we go in it's orderly and it has visual management, and that preventive maintenance and preventive backfilling is built into that. It also means that we look at the very important area of human performance and weave that in. And we need to also make sure that we continue to build on what makes Williams a differentiator, our behavior, our culture, how we appear when the Williams hard hat is on our head. What do our clients expect that to look like? And naturally feeding all of that is leadership development. And leadership development is core and through the whole thing. And so therefore it's sort of the roots to the whole rest of the endeavor. So one of the products that you'll see soon coming out from this effort is a couple flip books. And they're called flip books. They're about the size of an iPad, about half a piece of paper, and they're designed for you to carry around. Not a big binder. It's an easy, both of them are reference guides. And for execution excellence, we're actually kind of calling it the E squared flip book. And right now that's sort of what it will look like. And we have one called the Leadership Flip Book, which will be Leadership the Williams Way. Again, it's a reference manual. It does show you other places to go to learn more. And so you'll be hearing more about that also. So that's a quick look at how we've pulled together, mapping out a way to really improve down the road, to achieve execution excellence, both on today's projects and for the future. So stay tuned.